Hey, it's me, Warren. Welcome back to Black Sea Garage. I'm still working hard on getting this Camaro ready for the Summit Autocross week coming up in July. And what I want to do next to try and improve the weight a little bit is move this battery. This battery location is the best place for drag racing, behind the right rear tire. But for autocross, I think the best place to have it would be in between the four tires and as low as possible, and on the opposite side of me. So I'm gonna put it in the rear passenger seat area and see if I can help the weight distribution a little bit. I'm relocating the battery, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep the emergency cutoff switch. I like it. It's a good safety feature, and it also helps a little bit for theft protection. So I'm gonna leave this here and just rewire it a little bit different. I thought I was ready to get the seat out. I had these four bolts out, I had the headrest off, I got the seat belts out of the way, and then I forgot this is bolted to the floor. So I'm gonna try that again, and hopefully it won't hurt my back so much this time. I think while I'm at this, I'm gonna go ahead and add one more amplifier to the stereo. I put a new one in last year, it just wasn't really quite enough. So you can never have too many amps. So as long as I got all this carpeting stuff up, I'm gonna go ahead and add one more. I went ahead and took both seats out just to make it easier. So I'll go ahead and finish getting this carpeting out, and then the back seat is the only thing I got left, and then I can start fitting in the battery tray. As long as I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and take out the back tray and the back speakers. I want to upgrade the speakers a little bit more, and I bought a brand new back tray pad from National Parts Depot that ought to look great. Alright, the back deck, the speakers, the back seats all out, so I can start on the battery box. When the battery was in the trunk, I pretty much had all these wires zip tied to hell underneath the car. This time I think I'm going to punch a hole in the bottom of the firewall. I'm going to run them right through this channel here, which pretty much leads right up to where the battery box is going to be. I bought a Summit battery box that I'm going to put in the back seat. At least I hope it fits anyway. We'll see how it goes. I drilled an 1¼ inch hole saw right down where the support for the roll cage goes, and then it'll go right up under here. And this hole will correspond with the hole on the other side of the firewall, right near the subframe. Here's the other hole, which is located right by the middle subframe bolt. Right there. Here's a better view of that open channel. It sits right underneath the sill plate, and it goes under here and right up by the battery box. Here's how that looks finished up. I have a grommet on the hole. Everything's nice and tight and neat. And then down here in the channel, that's going to fit perfect underneath the sill plate. Nobody will kick that. I played around for a while and got the battery to sit nice and flat, just how I want it. So now I'm going to go ahead and mark where the holes for the threaded rod go through the floor. So I'll mark those, and then I'll drill them next. So I'm going to use the bracket to go ahead and mark the bottom of the box where to put the holes. I'll drill them, and then I'll put that in the car, and I'll use them to mark the holes in the floor. I flipped it over, measured the middle, found it. Got my 2 holes. That way I can mark the car. Alright, I've got the box bolted down. It's a little bit frustrating getting these rods in by yourself, trying to reach underneath the car and inside the box at the same time. But it's nice and sturdy, so I'll go ahead and put the battery in. With the new location, I'm having to shorten up some of these cables and redo the ends. Having a Temco or a similar hydraulic unit like this is really nice. It really makes the crimps perfect. I got a couple holes drilled in the box to put cables through. I have this ground cable finished. It is from the engine block to the battery. You need that for fuel injection. The 2 red wires that came through, they go back to the cutoff switch. I've got them in the back. And then I just made a new power cable to go from the battery to the cutoff switch in the back. I'll install that now. I'm reasonably confident that I got things wired up properly, so I'm getting ready to put the interior back in. But I think before I do, I'll kind of go over how I've wired the car a little bit. Not that I do it the right way or anything like that, it's just how I do it. But I've had several people ask me how I add on to my car. So I'll kind of go over that quick and then I'll jam the interior back in. So I'll start with these 3 main wires I got here in the channel. The black one is the ground wire that goes directly from the engine block directly to the battery negative post. It's required if you have a fuel injection of any kind. So that's what that is. Then the 2 red power wires here, they are both connected to the switch here. So they are both cut off when I want them to be. First one is the normal one that goes from the battery to the starter and it powers the entire car. All the lights, gauges, all the normal stuff. Then I have the second wire here, which is, I have as a number 6 wire. So I have it running through here, across the firewall, and then down this side here. And it runs into this MSD relay. I love these solid state relays from MSD. They work really well. They have 4 outlets, so I'm using 2 of them to run my fans. What's great about them is you can switch these using the negative side so you don't have a lot of current, which is what the new fuel injection system's like. They work really well, and I still have 2 open places here for a line lock or nitrous kit, or however I want to expand the car farther. I cut a little slot in the side of the battery box and I ran this through and I bolted it right here, and that serves as my ground. I may end up putting 1 more in there, but for now it's good. The wires running down the tunnel here are just a couple. That's where the stereo wires will be going. But in addition, I have the fuel pump wire running to the back. I have the 2 wires for the fuel injection. They always like to have the power come straight off the battery. So I have that. And that's about it right now. This is mostly where the stereo wires are going to go. As far as the stereo system goes, I'm going to supply the stereo from back here. This is the supply side of the cutoff switch, so it won't be affected by the cutoff switch, but it makes a good place to jump off the battery so I don't have so many connections coming right off the battery. But I have 1 wire for the subwoofer and its amplifier, and then I have a larger wire which I'm going to go to a distribution block over here in the back, and my amps are going to be up here and stuff. So that way it keeps it completely separate from the rest of the car, and I don't have to worry about pretty much, overloading anything. So that's how I do my car. I'm not saying it's the right way, it's just my way. On a final note about the wiring, you can see I hid the coil and the MSD box behind the dash and behind where the glove box and door are. I don't like people knowing what I got. I like to be a little stealthy, so I hid this back here, and it works out well.